here we are in the final video of me recasting Batman. Now I've been focusing on more of a senior Batman and kind of setting him up for a live action Red Hood film, but there still is a lot more opportunity afterwards. Stories like Hush or even Killing Joke really have a lot of characters and a lot of potential in live action. Either way, today we're tackling the women of Gotham. Now I'm not going to tackle the full Birds of Prey because they just appeared in a movie. Rather, I'm going to focus on the female villains and heroes who I think deserve to appear on screen for the first time, or they're so recognizable they're going to appear on screen again no matter what. But before I get going, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. Now I'm sure you've heard of Squarespace before, but I was actually surprised how easy it was to use. Now I knew absolutely nothing about starting a website, but Squarespace actually requires no previous knowledge. It allows you to follow a template or to customize completely to meet your desired brand or look. I'm actually working on a website through Squarespace right now for my recastings, where you get to vote if you like my choice or not. And I've used Squarespace for the entire thing, and it's actually looking great and coming together incredibly well. And even with a lot of people surfing on their phone these days, their designs work incredibly well on any device. So head over to squarespace.com right now for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/BrianSeeker to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So check out the description below for more details. As for the casting, like I said, this is the last video in the series. So check out the previous videos before this, because we're casting for a specific universe. They would be far different if we were working in Robert Pattinson's Batman. So today we are tackling some of the women inside the Batman world. So Harley Quinn, Talia Al Ghul, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, and Barbara Gordon. So let's recast Batman one last time. First up, we have Poison Ivy, a character that I feel like needs to be brought to screen again. Although Uma Thurman isn't a bad choice for the role, Joel Schumacher's version of Batman is, well, Joel Schumacher's version. Now with Poison Ivy, I think the natural approach to this character is calm, collective, but most importantly, seductive. She uses that womanly touch to her benefit. Now normally in a role like this, there have been a ton of fan castings, but there is one name that has been popped up time and time again, and honestly, I think it's perfect, and I don't have a better option, especially when we're working with the Batman here. That person is Jessica Chastain. I've loved her acting since Tree of Life and even Zero Dark 30, but in more recent days she's shown us she can do action and be more manipulative. She has that seductive nature, but also that little bit of innocence that shines through. I think she would play this role beautifully.
Doctor's orders.
So Jessica Chastain as Poison Ivy. Next up we have Catwoman. Now Catwoman has always been somewhere between hero and villain, usually crossing that line many times throughout a story. But in this universe, I don't want to limit ourselves. I want someone who can play both sides, but also be a potential love interest for Batman. Since Karl Urban is 48 years old, I don't think casting a 20-something would work well here. As well as with Catwoman, I don't think it's one of those roles you can just put anyone in. They need to have that fluid, gymnastic-like movement down. We need someone who can move and rock that strut like a cat. I also want someone with a little bit of flair, who feel like they're kind of seducing you with their words and can pull you in with that speech. I want Sofia Boutella, who had an amazing string of movies a little while back, like Kingsman, Star Trek Beyond, and Atomic Blonde. Now Sofia is a classically trained dancer since she was 5, and you can see that coming across in every role she plays. She doesn't shy away from acrobatics or fight sequences, and you can see she really has that Catwoman movement. She's actually great in terrible movies like The Mummy as well. She also brings a little bit that lusty feeling that Catwoman sometimes has.
I didn't think that you would show. Still be on the rocks.
You pay attention.
I look for pleasure in the details.
So Sofia Boutella as Catwoman. Next up we have Talia Al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, and another potential love interest for Batman. Now I know Talia's reveal in Rises was quite recent, so I doubt we'll see Talia popping up anytime soon, but still I want an actor who leans a little bit into that younger side, just to help translate that she could be the daughter of Naveed Negabond, who I cast as Ra's. I try to find an actor who appears to have Middle Eastern descent, but I end up going more the Indian route. But I feel like she deserves this opportunity and really would kill this role, because Anya Chalotra would be great here. She was the best part of the Witcher series, and I really want to see her taking on bigger roles. I think Talia Al Ghul would be a great fit for her. She can translate being well-trained, established, intelligent.
The great Tisea wants my help. What's the matter? You lost your touch.
I gave you all I could give. What more do you want?
Everything.
So Anya Chalotra as Talia Al Ghul. Next up, we have Barbara Gordon. Now, Barbara is obviously the daughter of Commissioner Gordon and actually the second Batgirl. But if I had to decide on what Batgirl really I would like to appear on screen, it's her. She's a very interesting story and one that transforms and changes. She would need to have that connection to her father, Batman, and eventually turn into Oracle. I think this would be a great story to show on screen, and we need an actress who can pull off both sides of Batgirl and Oracle, as well as conveying that emotional transformation and that emotional state that she's in after she was shot by the Joker. She needs to be commanding in the suit as well as behind the computer. That's why I went with Emma Stone, who has appeared in comic book movies before, but never really got to show off her true potential. I could see her working well as Bryan Cranston's daughter, who I cast as Gordon, and I think she'd work really well with Karl Urban at her side. But most importantly, I think she has the range to pull off that transformation that Oracle requires, and I think she could bring a lot more complexity and emotion to this role.
I want to ask another question.
You already asked another question.
One more.
Go ahead.
If you weren't afraid, what would you want to do to me?
So Emma Stone as Barbara Gordon. Lastly, we have Harley Quinn. She's been played to perfection by Margot Robbie. Although I haven't really liked any of the films she's appeared in, that's just Harley Quinn. She just nails it. Now, I ended up going through many actresses here, but I eventually went down a completely different path. I don't want to see an exact copy of that Harley Quinn. That's simply not interesting. I still want to keep to the heart of the character, but I want to stray a little bit away from that version. Now, Harley Quinn in this version should be different, because she needs to work well with Willem Dafoe's Joker. So I thought maybe an older version would work, but definitely a different feel. I would almost want a little bit of a darker take on this character, and someone who can play crazy in a different way. I ended up going with Christina Ricci, who seems like she was made for a role like this. I mean, she started off her career playing cynical with Wednesday from the Addams Family.
The gods of my tribe have spoken. They have said, do not trust the pilgrims. And for all these reasons, I've decided to scalp you and burn your village to the ground.
And has gone on to play even more weird and strange characters. She also has that high-pitched, whiny voice needed for Harley.
Those two men in the dock, they gave me the LSD and they took me to the hotel. I don't know what they done to me, but I remember it was horrible.
She's 40 years old, which I think would work well, but she also looks youthful. More importantly, I think she'd give a new take on Harley Quinn and really make it her own and make it interesting. So Christina Ricci as Harley Quinn. So that is the final episode of Recasting Batman. As I said, we are going to be getting to Percy Jackson next. Also, let me know if you'd be interested in the website of voting if you like my choices or not. And as always, let me know your choices for these roles down below in the comments. I really enjoy reading them. And let me know what potential film franchises, video games, or even books you'd like to see appear next in the series. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.